This is Rob Carbone, and you're listening to BD4, where there's no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. What is going on, guys? This is Rob Carbone coming at you with another episode of BD4 where we talk about the Knicks free agent scouting and stuff like that. Part 3 of this little free agent profile. Episode 96 of BD4, where there is no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. So, this is part 3. Last couple of shows, we covered a bunch of different players. Now we're up to 4. Tonight's going to be 5 and 6. Upcoming free agents. We're going to cover 2 more. But so far we've covered, well, let's see. Last night it was, who was it? Or the first night, for episode 94, we covered Christian Wood and Joe Harris. Then afterwards, in the following episode, 95, which was, if you're listening to this episode 95 was released on April 1st the morning of April 1st, and we covered, who did we do? We did Joe Harris, Christian Wood the first time out. Then last time out, it was, what the fuck was it? How come I'm drawing a blank? Okay, so I actually had to pause the podcast there and actually go look to see who we covered last night because I'm fucking drawing blanks. It was Fred VanVleet and Dāvis Bertāns. I can't believe I forgot that. Literally just did it last night and just released it on the morning of April 1st. I still can't. I can't. That's bad. Too much technology lately for me, I guess. Shit. But yeah, we've covered 4 players so far in this upcoming free agent class. I'm just calling them free agents already because I'm figuring this NBA season is most likely not going to be continued. I think they're just going to scrap it, unfortunately, because of this fucking bullshit that's going on. And it sucks, man. It really sucks. I know I give the Knicks a lot of shit, but I miss watching them. I miss complaining about them. I miss getting pissed off about them every fourth quarter when they collapse. And I just miss RJ Barrett, Mitchell Robinson mostly, just the young kids on that team. And hell, I miss ripping the veterans. I miss ripping Bobby Portis for taking ill-advised three-pointers and hook shots. I miss Taj Gibson for being slow and boring out there. I miss just ripping Wayne Ellington for missing shots off of screens so consistently. I really miss the Knicks right now, and that's sad. But I guess it's going to take a pandemic to make everybody realize the how much, we take for granted, I guess, right? But, yeah. And, I'm at a point right now with this whole thing where it's like, I'm not even expecting a baseball season at all. Originally I was kind of optimistic. I was like, okay, we'll get back, in May. Guys, I don't even think we're going to get an 80. Folks are talking about this shortened 80-game season. I don't even think we're going to get that. I think if it gets to that point, you might as well just scrap this shit. And it sucks, man. It sucks. Some idiot had to do some stupid shit over in China, and now some virus had to infect the entire world, and now everything is shut down, everything is ruined, and I'm here just making up episodes to the podcast as we go along. But, folks, we're going to dive into this. I don't want to waste too much time tonight because I am tired. If you're listening to this, it is April 2nd, but I'm recording this April 1st on a Wednesday night. But if you're listening to it, it'll be as early as April 2nd that morning. So let's dive in. We're going to talk about a couple more players tonight, 2 more. We've got Danilo Gallinari, who's an upcoming free agent, and also we have Bogdan Bogdanović, who is an upcoming free agent as well. I think he's a restricted free agent. I'm not sure, but both of them are free agents. They have the freedom to sign with another club. And, you know, the Knicks, I think, should be looking heavily at shooting this offseason, and both of those guys provide that. So we'll start with Danilo Gallinari. But before we do begin officially, I just want to remind you guys, thank you so much for following along. And if you want to subscribe to BD4, be sure to subscribe to the podcast on Apple, on Google, SoundCloud, Spotify, Radio Public, Anchor, and the video cast is up on YouTube. And there are plenty more outlets as well. So just go to my website, really. Just go to my website just to subscribe to all those different platforms, to subscribe to my podcast to. Go to my website at nysportstalkrc.wordpress.com. Once again, go to nysportstalkrc.wordpress.com. There should be a tab called Outlets right when you arrive there. Click on that tab. It'll take you to a page that displays every single link to where my podcast is. So my podcast is on 12, 13, 14 different platforms right now, and we're expanding each and more every here and there. So guys, thank you so much for following along to BD4, where there is no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. Thank you for tuning in. And, you know, if you want to stay updated, follow and subscribe to the podcast on all those platforms. And you can also follow me on social media. Follow at NY Sports Talk RC on either Facebook or Twitter. And follow at Rob J. Carbone on Instagram. I will keep you guys updated there as well. So thank you guys for following, subscribing, listening in, and all that shit. But let's get started here. And it was just all ice. Okay. Danilo Gallinari. We'll start with him, and then we'll get to Bogdanovic afterwards. Gallinari is a power forward. You know, Knicks fans are familiar with him. They drafted him, and then that was the whole he was in the Melo deal, the Carmelo Anthony deal, I believe. Power forward. This past season, he played for the OKC. 6'10", 233 pounds. Had a good season, man. Had a very productive, very efficient season. 19 points, 6 rebounds, and 2 assists. Did so on 44% shooting from the field, 41% shooting from three-point land, and 89% shooting from the free throw line. Did this in 55 games across 31 minutes per night. This guy is a straight-up shooter. And really, the two players I'm going to be covering tonight, much like we've been covering so far in this little, I guess, mini series of free agent scouting, most of these players are shooters because that's who I want the Knicks to target, and that's who they should be targeting. But Danilo Gallinari is a stretch four. He's a legit straight-up shooter. Does most of his damage off the catch and shoot, so he's not like, you know, he's not a scorer. But he can pull up. He can hit the mid-range. He can post up. He's decent at a pick and roll, both as a ball handler and as a roller. But most of his damage is as a catch-and-shoot player. I believe this season, actually, he averaged just under 8 points per game off the catch and shoot, which was ranked third of 514 qualifiers on NBA.com. So very good to place third in points per game off the catch and shoot this season. Obviously, that says a lot about his spot-up game. So that's what he does. He's going to catch and shoot, and just, you know, he'll give you buckets like that. He's got that badge, that that Hall of Fame catch and shoot badge in 2K. But yeah, he's a catch and shoot guy, but who has the ability to put the ball on the floor. He can even throw down some crazy dunks here and there. We've seen him throw down some very interesting dunks. But he has some athleticism here and there. He'll display some of that. He'll flash his, you know, explosiveness, I guess. You know, not that he's an athlete, but here and there he can throw down a dunk. But most of his game is going to come off catch and shoot. Has the ability to pull up, a decent mid-range guy as well. Has a post-up game, just doesn't do this often. Pick and roll, he can handle the ball, he can roll out of pick and roll, but, you know, most of his time is spent outside that arc shooting threes off the catch. He's also not the greatest rebounder. 6 rebounds a game this season, 5 rebounds a game in his career. in about 31 minutes per season per game, and over the course of his career, he's averaged 31 minutes per game as well, averaging 5 rebounds. So, he's not, for 6'10", he's not going to be a great rebounder just because he spends most of his time on that perimeter. Playmaking and defense also, again, isn't his greatest strength, just 2 assists per game in his career and also this season. But he does keep the turnovers at a minimum, however, so it's not like he's just turning over the ball and not being a great playmaker because he's sloppy. He just focuses on one thing, and he does that one thing very, very well. Again, defense isn't the greatest, but when he gives you efficient 40% shooting year by year, year after year from beyond the arc, you're going to take it. And so I'm looking at this guy, listen, I think I would take him in a heartbeat. He's going to be 32, I believe. I think he is 32 years old right now, entering free agency. So he's probably, right now he's on what, $20 million per season across 2 years with OKC. So you have to think he's still being very productive, right? He might be a little bit cheaper, or the years might be a little less. He might not get a long deal, but he's still very productive. He's putting up career best numbers the last couple of seasons at this point in his career. So I don't expect him to come cheap still. I still think he's going to, he's going to be worth a good amount. Right now he's making $20 million per season for over the course of 2 years here in OKC. But it's, I don't know, man. I think it's just going to be something where the Knicks are going to have to pony up if they really want him. There are younger options out there, so I prefer that first. But listen, if Danilo's available and the Knicks don't have much else to look at, I would go for him in a heartbeat, because I think this guy, I would like it. It's a fun little reunion. He would provide some front court shooting, good spacing at the 4 spot, which, again, I talked about this over the course of the last couple of nights, where the Knicks need spacing at that 4 position. They need somebody to space out the floor and provide, room to work for RJ and shit like that. We just can't have Julius Randle at the 4 spot posting up or going into isolation and just clogging the fucking lane so there's no room to work. I think having somebody to stretch out things like Gallinari is so important, is just crucial for the Knicks to just bring a competitive product, And a lot of people like to shy away from the older vets in free agency like Gallinari. But, I think when he provides something like shooting, something the Knicks need, you could still throw him out there and not really halt any of the development. I still think if they use him correctly, I think there comes a point where you want to grow your youth, you want to develop, but at the same time, you need to find a way to be competitive. So if you give Gallinari those Portis minutes, or if you give him, you find him minutes that you used this past season on those other mediocre, washed up, dried up vets, I think you'll find a way to make it work. Find a good balance between playing your veterans and playing your youth, right? But listen, it's not just going to come like that, and the Knicks aren't just going to be in the running. It's not going to be easy because, as I've said, he's not going to come cheap. If he's making $20 million per season this year and last year, I don't expect it to drop too much, if at all. And listen, OKC kept him off limits at the trade deadline. We have to remember this. Why would they do that unless they're really serious about holding on to him? If they wanted to trade him, they would have done it there. And so you have that to think about. Maybe they want to hang on to him in case the Thunder make another surprise run next season, right? Because their season was going very well for them. They were obviously interrupted by this whole hiatus. So you might think that they'll probably want to re-sign him and bring him back next season to see, if they can do this whole thing again and overachieve. So there's that to think about. And then, I don't know how much weight you guys are going to put into this, but I saw a quote by Gallinari. I'm going to read it right now. He said this entering this season. So it was at the end of last offseason. He said this quote. He said it to I don't know. I think I read this on Bleacher Report, but he said, next summer when I will become free agent, I will privilege a team that can fight for the NBA Finals. I won't chase money, but the chance to play for the title. NBA taught me to be a more selfish player on the court, but I have not really succeeded yet. So it makes sense. And most guys will say shit like this just because, it's the right thing to say. But I don't know. I kind of feel like he's telling the truth here because it makes sense. Gallinari, again, is a 32-year-old vet who's been in this, he's been in the NBA for 12 seasons now, and he's never won. He's never won a title, so he's probably really hungry at this point. He's had some chances where he got close, but he never won a title. And I feel like at this point in his career, while he's at his peak right now, he's not really going to get much better. I feel like he's going to have that attitude where I want to win games and not play for a team that's going to be tanking / rebuilding. So it's going to be tough if the Knicks are going to go after him. It's going to be really tough. He's not going to come easy. Going to be a high demand. Going to, there's going to be a little bit of a bidding war, but not just the OKC Thunder, but other clubs out there as well. I know GMs are high on this guy just because of his ability to shoot at the 4 position. So Danilo Gallinari, definitely an option, but one I wouldn't say will come easy. And nobody comes easy when you're the Knicks. So let's be honest here. We'll get to Bogdanovic in just 1 second, but we will be right back. We're going to take a quick break. All right. Hey guys, Rob Carbone here. Really quick, I just want to talk to you about Anchor. Anchor is a free podcast hosting site, and I say that again, it's a free podcast hosting site that will distribute your podcast for you to other platforms such as Spotify, Apple, Overcast, and all those websites. But here's the best part. Not only is it free, not only do they share it for you, but they will pay you for recording a podcast. They will pay you. And you can do it from your computer, from your phone. All you have to do is go to the Anchor app and download that, or go to their website, which is anchor.fm, to begin. It's everything you need. It is so convenient for podcasters like myself. So please, guys, go download the Anchor app or go to their website, anchor.fm, to begin. See you there. I hope I can say this kid's name right. Bogdan Bogdanovic, combo guard, primarily a shooting guard, who last played this past season for the Sacramento Kings. He's actually played there for all 3 seasons so far. He's 6'6", 220 pounds, so good size to be a combo guard. Last year, or this past season, he averaged 15 points, 3 rebounds, and 3 assists on a fairly efficient 43% from the field, 36% from distance, and 72% at the free throw line. Did this for 53 games and 29 minutes per night. So again, good production and some solid efficiency. He again is a shooter. He's not going to be a front court guy. Not going to provide shooting in the front court, but he'll be a shooter in the back court, which, again, is also a need for the Knicks. Not that the Knicks are the Knicks aren't a great shooting team in the front court, but they need shooting in the back court primarily. To be honest with you, that's where their biggest needs are right now. That back court, aside from Damian Dotson and aside from Alonzo Trier, who both of those guys might not even be here. Because, Dotson's going to leave. I'm thinking he's going to leave for Houston this offseason, or maybe Golden State. And Trier is just not getting the role he should be, and he might be unhappy right now. So I don't think these guys are going to be Knicks for long. So I think it's all that more important to go after a guy like Bogdan and, get this kid, because he's a good combo guard who can shoot. He's a versatile shooter, though. So he does it in many ways. He does it in many different areas. He's a good catch and shoot guy. I have down that he was ranked in the 95th percentile this season in scoring points per game off the catch and shoot. 95th percentile points per game off the catch and shoot. He was also 88th percentile points per game as a pull-up shooter He was also 85th percentile in field goals made per game as a mid-range shooter. So he can do all kinds of shooting. He can spot up, right? He can pull up. He can shoot off the bounce. He can shoot in the mid-range area. So it doesn't matter. He's just a good all-around shooter. Good large guard. He's a good combo guard who can provide the Knicks some shooting in that backcourt. So good to pair him with somebody like Frank. Good to pair him when you're putting somebody like R.J. Barrett on the floor. So he has somebody that can provide the shooting to keep the Knicks competitive while they're both on the floor. Because R.J. is not a great shooter himself, so he'll have somebody else out there to for the Knicks to rely on that 3-point shot. I think he'd work well with many different Knicks. And he's a capable finisher as well. He can finish. He can also ball handle out of the pick and roll. He's a good playmaker. He's got a bunch of different things in his arsenal where he's good at. 60% field goal percentage in the restricted area this past season. Solid. 4 assists per night over the course of his career versus 2 turnovers. Not bad. And ranked in the 64th percentile as a pick and roll ball handler when it comes to scoring points per possession. So that's not terrible as well. He's a good, solid, versatile shooter, man. This kid can play basketball. And he's got some speed. Not that he's the most athletic, but he's got speed to where if you don't respect him, he'll blow by you. But shooting is his main thing here. A versatile shooter who will attack, again, many different areas in many different ways. And he's improved marginally each season. And what I like is he's still improving, but he's still playing the same minutes. It's not one of those cases where he's improving only because they're giving him more minutes, but he's consistently, all 3 seasons, he's played 28 minutes a night, I believe, and he's still, he's slightly upping that scoring average despite the consistency in minutes. So that's a good thing. It only means he's going to get better. And at the age of 27 years old right now, turning 28, I think, at the end of the year, but he's still fairly young. He's a kid who can go out there and give the Knicks some decent shooting. Dennis Smith Jr., hell no, he can't shoot. Elfrid Payton can't shoot. Frank Ntilikina has struggled shooting, and we mentioned R.J. Barrett hasn't shot consistently yet. The Knicks need shooting in that backcourt, so get him out of there. Get him out there. Dotson and Trier might not be here long. The Knicks don't play him enough anyways, so get somebody like Bogdan Bogdanovic here to boost the Knicks shooting in the backcourt. It's as simple as that, guys. It isn't that complicated, to be honest with you. And let's see. I also have written down that right now he's making $9 million per season across 3 years. So that's $27 million in total. And I was looking around. I'm expecting this guy to probably get a little more than that now that he's kind of making a name for himself. And I think a Forbes executive said, I was reading an article earlier. It said a Forbes executive was saying, expect somewhere an $80 million range across 4 seasons. So $20 million per season over the course of 4 years. I'm going to say it's probably accurate. It's probably something you're going to see now from somebody like Bogdanovic earning that much money for that long. I think that's a fair offer. Again, when you're the Knicks, you can afford things like this because you need it. It's a necessity. It's not something that is just a bonus. It's not like you're a team who's financially strapped either. You're the Knicks. You've got money. You just use it correctly, especially since they have all these veterans right now on these team-friendly, non-guaranteed deals, right? All these one-on-one type deals where Portis is... The Knicks can just drop Portis because he was on a one-on-one. I think Wayne Ellington was. Taj Gibson's only on a 2-year deal. I think he's one of that is... I think that's a one-on-one as well. There are many Knicks who are either here for just this season or on a one-on-one. I think very few are here on a guaranteed 2-year contract at least. Most Knicks on this team, most of the veterans that signed in the offseason were on those team-friendly deals. So that's good. That helps your finances here if you're the Knicks. You have that money to go out there and maybe overpay a tiny bit for somebody young and somebody capable of shooting the ball off the dribble, off the catch, like Bogdan can. So I would definitely go for this kid. I think he's a good fit. He makes plenty of sense. He's a winning player. Get him on a team that's trying to rebrand themselves and make him, maybe if the Knicks get him, they're more competitive. They'll just be more of a competitive product because they can shoot a little more. And I don't think one guy's going to do it, right? See, if they do sign somebody like him, I still think they're going to have to go after other players who can shoot the ball as well, because that's how much of a need it is for them. But listen, little by little, just go after somebody. I think in order for the Knicks to be competitive, they absolutely need to address this flaw here. It is their biggest issue far and away. Yes, they've got defensive struggles, but they need to address their shooting first and foremost. When was the last time the Knicks had a backcourt player who could shoot the ball over 40% year after year, or near 40%? I think Bogdanovic was 36% this past season, which is not bad. So he can shoot it in volume too. So listen, go after him. It's not that hard. Go after the kid. It makes sense to do. So if you're the Knicks, why not? Gallinari, Bogdanovic, those are my two tonight. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't seen episodes 94 and 95, where we talk about Joe Harris, Christian Wood, and plenty more guys like Fred VanVleet and who was the other kid we talked about last night? Jesus, why am I drawing so many friggin' blanks? VanVleet and Dāvis Bertāns. That's it. Go check those episodes out. We talked about them and pretty much the same things in those two shows, but some different things as well. So go check it out. Episodes 94 and 95, Knicks free agent scouting. Tonight was part 3 of this whole thing. Gallinari and Bogdanovic, where, again, it's just going to be, it's coming down to needs right now, and just get some talent or get something that fills a need. And both of these kids are talented and they fill the holes. So why the fuck not? The Knicks should definitely strike for somebody. Of course, they have to be careful, but listen, you have to be aggressive in free agency when you're trying to be competitive and you're this far behind like the Knicks are. You need to be aggressive, and there's no reason to stand back and just rely 100% solely on the draft. I think use your advantage. You're a team with finances. You're a team with plenty of cash. You've got the money. Use that to your advantage, and you've got these team-friendly deals. Use that to your advantage and just strike in free agency. You don't have to chase superstars. Not that there are any superstars this free agent class, but AD is going to re-sign in LA, and Brandon Ingram sure shit ain't coming here. So the players that are out there, they're going to be, they're going to be commanding some kind of heavy deal, but it shouldn't be too much out of the ordinary. I think you can do it. It's going to be hard for the Knicks, because they're not the most attractive team right now, but you have the money to where you can at least make that count. So we'll see what happens, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. This has been Rob Carbone, your host of BD4, where there is no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. Please, guys, if you haven't subscribed to my podcast, BD4, be sure to subscribe to this on iTunes, on Google, on SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple, just said that, YouTube, where the video cast is, and plenty more. You can find all those platforms on my website, nysportstalkrc.wordpress.com. And follow me on social media, on Facebook and on Twitter at nysportstalkrc, on Instagram at Rob J. Carbone. Guys, thank you so much. This, once again, has been your host, Rob Carbone, doing episode 96 of BD4. We are coming up on 100 soon. And I will see you Friday or Saturday, the latest, for part 4 of this whole thing. So we're going to keep doing this thing. We're going to keep doing this little free agent profiling and see how far we can go. Guys, thanks so much for tuning in. This is Rob Carbone, and I'm signing out. Ciao. Hey, we hope you enjoyed the show. And if you did, be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, share, and all that fun stuff. If you want to follow BD4 on all the different platforms we have, all you have to do is go to my website, nysportstalkrc.wordpress.com. Once again, that's nysportstalkrc.wordpress.com. Thank you, guys. I'll see you next time. Ciao.